So what do you get when you mix a highly stylized art direction dripping with atmosphere and personality, and a quirky teenage romance story centered around a high school girl and a toilet ghost? Note to self, pitch that as a Twilight parody. But putting that aside, we get something pretty damn amazing. A series that packages comedy, action, and suspense with a neat little bow is always a welcome addition in a seasonal lineup. Which is why I wanted to talk about Jibaku Shonen Hanako-kun, or Toilet Bound Hanako-kun today, and convince you all why you should be watching it instead of whatever Sword Art Online season or spin-off is out. What is Hanako-kun about? A girl named Nene, looking for help with love, hears about one of the 7 rumors at her school. That in of itself is a common thing in Japanese pop culture, schools having ghost stories tied to them, and the famous ones being the 7 rumors of that school. So she hears that if she goes to a specific girl's bathroom, knocks on a specific stall, and asks if Hanako-san's there, a ghost will appear and grant her wish. Taking that blind statement on faith, she ventures there to do just that. She finds that the typically female ghost is actually a boy about her age. After being disturbed that ghosts are in fact real, she accepts his help in finding success with love, as useless as it seems. Like offering her a dusty old book on 100 methods of love and doing some basic life coach stuff by telling her to give him gifts and showcase her strong points. That point alone sets up some basic subversion of a ghost thrusting 2 characters together through magic means, while telling quite a bit about Hanako's personality. Namely that he has the power to put 2 people in one another's orbit, but chooses not to because it would be actually awful, involving a curse and ruining both their lives. With Nene's gardening, cooking, and sewing skills failing to draw her crush's affection, or even attention for that matter, she begs Hanako-kun to use more supernatural methods, and stealing a cursed item from him, she embarks to use it, binding her and her crush together. Finding him with another girl though makes her give up hope, and the curse affects just her, which the curse turns out to be from mermaid scales, which turns her into a fish, and said mermaid is now out to steal her away. Luckily though, Hanako-kun shows up and saves her through violent means. And what would normally be tonal whiplash, this series lays out its entire vibe, that both lighthearted and tense scenes can coexist thematically. When the stakes are raised, the usually easygoing and joking characters follow that mood shift, allowing tension to rise naturally. Most comedies that try to have it both ways fail pretty hard at that. Looking at Kyoko Sweetie from this season for just that, as where everything in that series is treated flippantly, this one allows for audience investment when it tries to be dramatic or action-focused. I don't feel like the show is mocking or judging me for getting invested, if that makes any sense. After saving her, he offers her a deal to turn her back to normal, which Nene accepts. Thus, she's bound to him, and he accepts to share her curse. What follows from there is an adventure on building harmony between the spirits in the school and the students, while Nene and Hanako's relationship grows. There's a nice dynamic for the backdrop of this series, with a playful ghost teasing an airheaded girl as they share a genuine friendship, one even extending to another student when a would-be exorcist joins their group, who sort of has a crush on Nene and wants to rid the school of Hanako. That alone would be a nice watch. But, strangely enough, that's merely the glue holding the overarching narrative of who Hanako was, the spirits in the school getting out of control, and Nene's blossoming feelings for a ghost together. All these elements build into one another, connecting these points and characters in a way that makes an otherwise mess of themes feel cohesive. Like Nene wanting affection and finding Hanako, and their relationship growing through the trials they endure while combating the other rumors. Or how Nene's crush is actually the exorcist's older brother, and the shadowy conspiracy around the rumors going berserk centering around Hanako himself. A very well crafted and tight story package for sure. Big surprise, Lurch did an excellent job with the animation. When looking at this series, it feels reminiscent of something like Space Patrol Luluco in its line work, having these thick outlines and exaggerated expressions. That lends to the tonal style as the shapes are more simplistic, giving a cutesy, fluffy vibe. Nene looking ditzy during the day or bumping into someone carries that 4-coma sense of simplistic composition, artwork, and animation. It's incredibly versatile as it allows the comedy and relaxing moments in the series to shine. But when the series wants to show more dynamic scenes, that style isn't restrictive despite its initial simplicity. Pulling back the camera for a low angle, using a flash of light to sell a slash, or following an orb through a series of 3 cuts, selling distance in a way that's barely noticeable. I think that shows a masterful understanding of how these characters move in their space. where the show can lean into the cutesy nature while not drastically shifting the art direction for the more action-based scenes. A small thing to mention too, there's a decent amount of use of the studio's trademark manga panel style presentation, where outlined picture-in-picture will appear. This is something Lurch uses a lot, as it's appeared in Scum's Wish and Kanata no Astra. It's a clear way of showing simultaneous minor actions while keeping cuts to a minimum and saving some animation. I don't begrudge it in this anime, as it fits with the established aesthetic. However, what punches this up a lot more, probably the most in my opinion, is in the color choices of the series. Use of warm tones convey the evening school light and mystical nature this story is going for. Not to mention the palette breadth utilized. That's something I brought up in my Koisuru Asteroid review, and it holds true here. When a dark hallway is shown, there isn't just dim light, but a growing gradient from orange to purple to blue, making the world feel incredibly vibrant and alive. But if Lurch does anything well, it's how to use color. Visually, this series offers a lot, more than I could have ever hoped for. That's saying a lot when I see Lurch behind it. As for criticisms, I have some minor nitpicks about the sound. And believe me, it's incredibly minor. In the Japanese, the line delivery, specifically Hanako's, is very clearly recorded at a low volume and boosted higher. It often sounds like the seiyuu was recording an inch or two away from the microphone and whispering into it. That sounds a little strange, which his character constantly sounds like he's whispering into your ear despite being a good distance away from the intended listener. There's also a decent amount of background noise hiss that creeps into the dialogue, lending to the idea that these were recorded quietly, but the actors very close to their microphones, and very minimal noise reduction done to it. And yes, I told you, that was minor, but still a concern for audio purists. So is Jibaku Shonen Hanako-kun good? Yes, it is. Honestly, when my biggest criticism of the anime is there's a small hiss sometimes heard when listening closely to the voice actors, that's a pretty good indication that this series is solid. It has a visually unique style given a lot of care by the studio, and tells its story well while allowing the audience to get emotionally invested. If you're looking for a quirky show this season that's sweet and packs some suspense, give this a watch. I can't imagine you'll regret it. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and do all the other YouTube stuff to help the channel grow. You can also join my Discord with a link down in the description. And if you really want to support me, you can head on over to my Patreon at patreon.com/trashtierwaifu. Thanks for watching.